So I know a lot of you, as you're creating your lenses and filters for Snapchat, are looking to grow your own audience and subscriber base. Now, a lot of users on Snapchat don't know that they can subscribe to creators. So what a lot of creators do is they add a little text overlay to their lenses, letting the users know that they can subscribe to the creator. These calls to action are super easy to add to any new or existing lenses. So first we'll be going over how you can add them to your own lenses, and then I'll be giving you 3 best practices. Let's get started. So I'm here in Lens Studio with just a blank project, but you can just as easily add this to an existing project. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to add some screen text. Now if you don't already have an orthographic camera, one will be created for you, and you'll have your text here. So I'm going to rename this CTA, then I'm going to select this full frame region. I'm going to change it to safe render. Now what safe render does is you might notice that these bounds have now shrunk, and this is to ensure that whatever is inside of here will not be hidden by the Snapchat user interface. Now let's go ahead and select our text, come over to the text box and go ahead and add your message. So tip number 1 is don't be obtrusive. Now, when people are using your lens, they're using it because they want to use the filter that you created. They don't care about your subscription message, your call to action. They want to use your lens. How I have my text now covering the whole screen, we don't want that. We want to get out of the way. Let's change this text size smaller, and then we can just kind of align it a little differently. We can adjust this. We can move it up, maybe off to the side. I'm getting a pin to edge. So this little red line, we'll just keep it off to the left. I'll know that's a little kind of consistent positioning. So pinned to the left, pinned to the bottom. Now as I change the different simulation options, the different screens, you can see that my message is staying in the same spot. Tip number 2 is stay out of the final product. When someone is taking a picture or recording a video, they don't want to see this message. So let's make sure that even though we have this message here, that's not showing up in the finished product. So I'm going to come up in my objects panel. I'm going to find helper scripts. I'm going to add the behavior script. All right, so just drag that behavior script up to the top, just keep things nice and tidy, and let's get it set up. All right, so for the trigger type, this is what's going to make this script run. I want to change this to recording start. So it's down at the bottom. All right, so once I have the trigger, I want to set my response. So when recording starts, what is going to happen? What I want to happen is to set enabled. I want to select my call to action. So I'm going to search for that, select it. I want to disable it. So my message will always be here, but as soon as the user takes a picture or starts recording a video, it's going to disappear. No one wants to send your call to action to their friends, so we want to make sure it's not present in the final snap. So you always want to remove your call to action from the final snap. And that brings us to tip number 3. Invite and then show yourself out. So what I mean by that is we don't need to keep this message up here forever. We just want to show it for a little bit and then make it disappear. So one thing we could do is we could add another behavior script. So we could just copy and paste this, change the trigger to something like on awake or on start. And then after a certain delay, just make the message disappear. Now that works, but we can do it another way using a tween script to give your lens a little more polished feel. So what I want to do is in the objects panel, I want to come find helper scripts once again and add the tween manager. It can take a minute to add everything, but once it does add, go ahead and expand the tween manager, delete the examples, and then just drag that up to the very top. We want to keep that up at the very first thing here. Now on our behavior script, we can go ahead and add another script here. So let's add a component, add a script, and we want to find the tween alpha. So open up tween types, find tween alpha. All right, so our scene object, we want to select our text. So let's search for that. Add our call to action. We want to go from fully visible with an alpha of 1. We want to end with an alpha of 0. So you can see over here that our message is disappearing. So let's fine tune this a little bit. Let's change the time. We can keep it 1 second. Let's give it a 5-second delay. So now our message will be visible for 5 seconds and then it will fade away. If the person starts recording before a message has disappeared, no problem, because our behavior script will go ahead and just hide it so it's not in the final snap. And just like that, our call to action is ready to go. But to recap, with your calls to action, you want to be unobtrusive, you want to stay out of the final snap, and you want to get out of the way. Good luck creating.